Okay, very good. Okay, going to you're on Chav Zayin, you're on Chav Zayin and Aleph, 27A. Okay, so let's see what we have in the Gemara over here. The last thing we said yesterday was Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba. We are about 6 lines from the bottom. Rav Yirmiyah bar, maybe we'll go through some Yaakov Yosef today also regarding some of these laws that we're about to say. Rav Yirmiyah, so we have the story of Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba. Okay, again, here we go. Rav Ikla lebei Geniva. Rav came to the house of Bnei Geniva. That's what we're starting the Gemara. And what did he do? V'tzoli shel Shabbat be'erev Shabbat. And he prayed the Shabbat prayer, the Friday night prayer. He prayed early. He davened Friday night early. Morning, Yosef.
Boker Tov, Rabbi.
Boker Tov. V'havimatzli Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba la'achuri de Rav. When Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba when Rav prayed the prayer early, in back of him was Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba. Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba was right in back of him. V'sayim Rav, and Rav finished his prayer. V'lo tfoske l'slutit Rav Yirmiyah. Rav Yirmiyah prayed longer than Rav. Rav Yirmiyah prayed a longer Amidah, and Rav finished his Amidah, and Rav was careful not to walk back 3 steps to go ahead and get into the space of Rav Yirmiyah. That was the story that we said yesterday. So the Gemara said, and so the Gemara says, Shma mina tlas. So the Gemara says, and the way the commentary explains over here, is that Rav did not walk. Let's say Rav wanted to go. Rav had to sit down in his place. He didn't want to walk through past Rav Yirmiyah, because Rav Yirmiyah was in the middle of praying. If he's going to walk through, he's going to interrupt his kavanah. So the Gemara says, Shma min hatlas. We said you learned 3 things from that story of Rav. What Rav did, we learned 3 things. Shma mina mispal adam tfilas avit, mispal adam shel Shabbat erev Shabbat. The first thing we learned is that you have a right to pray early Friday night. You could go ahead and pray before dark. You could pray the Arvit. And it would seem that a student could pray in back of his rabbi. And we're going to see in the Gemara is going to question this, but in this case, it would seem that way, at least superficially at this point, because Rav was the rabbi. He was in front, and Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba was the student. That's what the Gemara is understanding. And the student is right at the back of the rabbi. And he was praying right at the back of the rabbi. We see you're not allowed to go ahead and walk past somebody who was in the middle of praying. I think there's a famous story where Moshe Feinstein, that there was a certain convention, I think, and Moshe Feinstein needed to go, let's say, to a certain place, and in order to go there, you would have to walk past someone who was in the middle of the Amidah, someone who was in the middle of praying. So somebody asked Moshe, someone said, why aren't you going? So Moshe said, why are you walking? So Moshe said, there's a wall in front of me. We need to say to him, could you walk through a wall? I don't know if anybody could walk through a wall. It's hard to walk through a wall. To Moshe, when someone was praying the Amidah, in Moshe's mind, it's as if there's a wall in front of him that I can't go through. That's how Moshe looked at somebody when someone was in the middle of praying, not to interrupt and walk past right in front of the guy who's praying. So the Gemara says, those are the 3 things. So now the Gemara says, Messiah lay the Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. This, what Rav did, supports It's a proof to the words of Rabbi Yeshua Malevi. The Omer Rabbi Yeshua Malevi, Rabbi Yeshua Malevi says, "Also la'avor k'neged ha'mispalim." Rabbi Yeshua Malevi said that you cannot walk in front of someone who's praying. So we see that what Rav did, that he was very careful not to walk in front of someone who was praying. Rav was very also following this law. Now you should know that sometimes people don't even realize. Someone once came over to me and said, "Rabbi, could you speak to somebody?" He doesn't realize he constantly walks in front of somebody when they're praying. Now, a lot of times people need to be smart when where do they stand when they pray the Amidah? You shouldn't stand near the door where people are going to come in and come out and walk right past you. That's the wrong move to pray. Because there's two things. There's one thing is you're not allowed to walk past somebody who's in the middle of his Amidah. But you shouldn't create a situation to make it so difficult for the person. Don't, sometimes a person comes late to the synagogue. I know it never happened by anybody over here on the screen, but I know there's a possibility that someone ever came late. So I've seen sometimes they come late and they step one step into the synagogue or the Beit Midrash, and then they start the Amidah. But they're right by the door. It's a mistake. You got to walk a little forward, walk to a place. When you start praying, that's why one of the great things when you're praying in front of a wall, there's be a wall in front of you. No one can walk, no one can go in front of you. You have a wall in front of you. There's no possibility. So you got to be smart about where you stand. You hear that, Morris? Yeah. You got to be smart where you stand when you do the Amidah. Don't create a milchol. Yosef, Mike, you hear what I'm saying? Don't create a milchol for somebody to stand in a place where it's going to be easy for the person to hard for him to wait and so on and so forth. The Gemara says, but what do you mean? Aini, is that so? That you Rav Ami, Rav Asi Chalfi? Rav Ami, Rav Asi actually passed. There was someone praying the Amidah, and they actually passed through. So the Gemara says there's a difference. He did not pass through within Dalet Amot. They passed through, they were further away. They passed through more than 4 Amot away, so it didn't disturb the person's prayer because they were more than 4 Amot away where they passed through. Meaning, because we're saying that it seems that the main issue, the logic, the main reason is going to disturb someone's prayer, but it disturbs me when someone comes in front of me, near me. But if someone's more than 6 feet away from me, and he's passing in front of me, I don't really notice it so much that it's going to really disturb my kavanah. So the Gemara says, Rav Yirmiyah heichi avid hachi. How could Rav Yirmiyah do such a thing? How could Rav Yirmiyah pray back of Rav? What do you mean? Rav Yehuda says the name of Rav. La'olam ayispal adam. A person should not pray below Keneged Rabbi. You shouldn't pray next to your rabbi. We turn the page, Mazel Tov. We are now on Chav Zayin Amud Beis. You should not pray standing side by side to your rabbi, because it looks like you're equal to him if you go ahead and you're standing right next to him. We weren't really in the same line. You know what I'm saying? We're a little, we were off. You know what I'm saying? No. So you below achure rabbi, not right in back of your rabbi, because if you're in back of what's the issue if you're in back of your rabbi? So Tosfos quotes the Rashi that it's also a sign of haughtiness that you're like I'm right in back of you, I'm close to you. I presume it's a similar concept that Morning Ariel Shalom Aleichem. That it's when you're in back of the rabbi, you're standing right in back of him as if you're in the same line as him. You didn't give any distance, any space. You're just right in back of him. So that's also a lack of respect. That's one pshat in Rashi. Tosfos offers another pshat. Tosfos says that if you're standing you're praying in back of your rabbi, and since during the Amidah you bow down, so it looks like you're bowing down to your rabbi. Now, of course, we have to respect that rabbi, but bowing down goes to God, and therefore, that's what I'm saying. So, according to the issue is the Amidah. The main issue that Gemara is talking about is only the actual Amidah. If you're sitting next to the rabbis and your rabbi and you pray, doesn't seem like the issue. The issue is when you do the Amidah. If you do the Amidah right on the same line as him, or right in back of him. And we'll take out the Shulchan Aruch more about this. Thank you. Vitanya, we learned in the Breita. It says in the Breita that look at the Breita. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Hamispalel Achuri Rabo. If somebody prays in back of his rabbi, you shouldn't do it. If somebody gives shalom to the rabbi the same way he says shalom to everybody else, right? How do you say shalom aleichem? But you're supposed to say shalom aleichem Rebbe, shalom aleichem Rabbi. You're supposed to give more respect to the rabbi than everybody else. You have to respect everybody, but the rabbi is supposed to get a level higher. So therefore, if you go ahead and you don't say Shalom Aleichem Rebbe, that's a lack of respect. Same thing, V'amachzir Shalom l'Rabbo. If you not only when you open up and you greet your rabbi without giving him respect by referring to him as rabbi, if you respond to the greeting of the rabbi greeted you, and then when you respond to him, you say Aleichem Shalom, but you don't say Aleichem Shalom Rabbi. Aleichem Shalom Rebbe, that's also a lack of respect. If somebody goes ahead and he opens he opens his own Beit Midrash without going and he teaches Torah without asking permission from the rabbi. His rabbi is the one who's teaching Torah, and he's the student. And he goes ahead and he wants to go ahead and open up and teach also. But it's derech eretz, it's respectful. You go ahead and you seek permission from your rabbi to teach. So that's hacholek hayeshivot l'sharabo. That's another va'omed davar shelo. If you say something shelo shoma mipi rabbo. If you say something that you did not hear from your rabbi. Now, what does that mean? You said something you did not hear from your rabbi. So some say it means you said it in the name of your rabbi. You said, let's say you're a student of Rabbi Yosef. You said Rabbi Yosef said this, but you really never heard it from him. But you think that Rabbi Yosef would say it. That's similar to that he said it. But the point is, if a person goes ahead and he says, my rabbi said this. Now you think your rabbi would say it. That's why you said your rabbi said that. But you never heard it from your rabbi. But you said your rabbi said it. People might have such a thing, because why do people do that? Because people know they'll listen to your rabbi. You have a big rabbi. If you say it in your own name, they might not listen to it. But if you say Moshe Feinstein said it, Rabbi Yosef said it, now, even though you think they would say it, but if they didn't say it, you cannot say they said it. That's the Rabbeinu Yonah and the Rosh. Others understand the problem is that if you say something, and if you said something, the people think that you heard this from let's say you're a student of Rabbi Yosef, a very close student of Rabbi Yosef, and then you say something, and you didn't quote Rabbi Yosef on it. So what do people think? Well, probably whatever you're saying is from Rabbi Yosef, and maybe it's not true. Maybe this is your own thing, it's your own opinion, not Rabbi Yosef's opinion. So therefore, to make sure that people don't make a mistake and they know what you said and what your rabbi said, you have to be clear and quote. If you're quoting if it's from your rabbi, you say it's my rabbi told me. If it's not from your rabbi, you say it's from yourself. Yeah. So that's the and I saw that Divrei Hamudos says a beautiful idea that what's the issue? The issue is like this. Let's say you're a student of Moshe Feinstein, Everybody thinks everything you say is from Moshe Feinstein. And then you said something, and really it was not from Moshe Feinstein, but everybody thinks it's from Moshe Feinstein, but really it was from yourself, it was your own idea, and it wasn't really a good idea. It wasn't really the true halacha. It was something that didn't make the people felt was something that was not so clear, something hard to relate to. And the reason why, and therefore they're going to think that Rav Moshe Feinstein said this thing, which is not clear. But the truth is, Rav Moshe Feinstein didn't say this thing. Truth is, you said it. You didn't say, and people thought that you quote that's Rav Moshe Feinstein because you're a student of Rav Moshe Feinstein. People think everything you say is Rav Moshe Feinstein. So therefore, you need to be clear when it's from Rav Moshe Feinstein. When it's not from Moshe Feinstein, then everyone will understand who said what. And if something is said that's not so perfectly making sense, they'll realize that it was they'll know it came from you, not from him. So that's the idea. So the Gemara's question is, how did he go ahead and he pray the Amidah right in back of his rabbi? It seems to be we have a Breita that says that it's wrong. You can't stand right out back of your rabbi to pray. So the Gemara says, Shiny Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba. Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba was different. Why was he different? Talmid Choveh Haveh. He was a student, but he was also like a colleague. Meaning he learned a lot from Rav. Rav was a teacher of his because he learned a lot of Torah by Rav. But at the same time, he was equal to Rav in wisdom. He was like on his level. He was in his league. And therefore, like a friend. And therefore, he did not need to give the same level of respect that an ordinary student has to give to the rabbi. Meaning to say, everybody, there's different levels. Rabbis have to give each other respect, right? And that was a problem, by the story of Lag Ba'omer, of the students of Rabbi Akiva. They were all rabbis, they were all Talmidei Chachamim, and it seems they didn't give enough respect. And it could be that the reason why they didn't give such respect to each other, because they all felt for myself, I don't need any respect. Respect is something that I don't want honor, and therefore honor is not good for me. And maybe their mistake was that the fact that honor is not good for you, you don't want to get to your head, but you still have to honor the other person, right? A person should be on the level, say, I don't want honor. You're supposed to be berech min hakavod, run away from honor. But it's an interesting thing with honor. On the one hand, you're supposed to run away from honor, but on the other hand, you're supposed to give honor. You understand? You have to give honor to others, but for yourself, you should run away from honor. You should not want honor. You should look at honor that me to be honored. I don't want honor. I'm afraid it's going to get to my head. That's a great, right. I heard that question before. So you hear what Ariel Maiman asked? He asks, how could you give someone honor if you're saying it could get to the guy's head, right? If this, so obviously that the fact that a person needs to feel respected. A person feels by nature that you have to give them honor. But we're saying right.
About what the rabbi will use for you.
Right. So maybe I would change that. Maybe I would say the point is it's important for us to give honor to somebody else. That means to say like this. And right. It brings our gaiva down and it humbles us. We need to give, but and the job of everybody, meaning everybody is taught. Everybody is, good morning Akiva, good morning other people who have joined. Everybody is taught. Everybody knows.
Morning.
Everyone is supposed to. Everybody needs to know in life. There's certain things you need to do in life. One thing you need to do in life is you need to run away from honor, and another thing that you need to do in life is you need to give honor. It's important for us to give honor, So therefore, the fact that everybody is supposed to be on top of their game to run away from honor, maybe it's not considered that we're really giving them a stumbling block by trying to honor them. Because they're supposed to know that they're not supposed to let it get to their head. But it's important for us to show gratitude to people, to show honor to people, to give respect. When you give respect to somebody, then you treat them differently. You treat them a certain way as a result of you giving respect. If you respect your wife, you'll treat her a certain way. You respect your rabbi, you'll treat him a certain way. You respect your friend, you treat them a certain way. And a lot of people say, he doesn't respect me. They don't respect me. If they don't respect me, therefore they're treating me like that. But if there'll be respect, right, Ariel, that's what you were saying. I'm taking what you said to another level. When you respect somebody, you treat them differently. So therefore, we want and we're going to encourage everyone to respect everybody. But at the same time, we're going to encourage everybody to run away from the respect that they receive. So it seems that the respect is more for the giver. It's needed for the giver to give the respect, and it's more for the recipient to run away from accepting the respect. But we need to give respect, and that's the story. So the Gemara says that he was a Talmud that Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba learned from Rav. Because he learned from Rav, he was considered a student, but he was also on his level. He was a similar league in wisdom. So therefore, he did not need to give the same level of respect that an ordinary student has to give. An ordinary student cannot stand right in back of the rabbi, as if you're standing right, you're right in back of him, you're like also on the same level if you're right in back of him. An ordinary student has to move away from the rabbi when they pray. But if you are you studied by the rabbi, but you're in the similar league as the rabbi, you're similar in wisdom, then it's not asked of you, it's not inappropriate for you to stand right in back of the rabbi, and therefore you could go ahead and be right in back of the rabbi. And that explains why Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba was there. Even though rabbis have to respect each other, but the certain levels of respect are different than a student and colleagues respect each other at one level, and a student respects their rabbi at a different level. And according to the other opinion of Tosfot, that the reason why you shouldn't stand in the back of your rabbi and pray, because it looks like you're bowing to your rabbi. But if the rabbi is not, that's only if it's your rabbi, if it's a rabbi that's much greater than you, greater in your wisdom. But here, Rav and Rav Yirmiyah were similar levels of wisdom, so it doesn't look like when you're bowing down, no one's going to think you're bowing to your rabbi, because it's not, because since he's on a similar level to you, so no one's going to come to that conclusion. So that's what the Gemara says. Now, if we'll take out the Shulchan Aruch, and then we'll take out the Yalkut Yosef. I know Morris enjoyed yesterday. He made a comment before that he enjoyed yesterday the Yalkut Yosef. So we're going to continue on that today. So we're going to take a look at the Shulchan Aruch regarding these laws. The Simek Kuf Beis Sif Dalet. It says the following: you're not allowed to walk in front of someone within Dalet Amot, within 6 or 8 feet of someone praying. You can't. He's praying here. You can't walk past in front of him, as if you're within 6 to 8 feet. But if you're over here, he's here, and you're here, no problem, right? You're more than 6 feet away. The guy is praying the Amidah, you need to get there. Right. If in order to get to your seat, you would have to go ahead and pass somebody who's in the middle of praying. You're going to say, okay. So very good. Very good. So when the answer Morris's question, if someone would come late to shul, and then if you're going to start late, it's like we said before, pray in a place that people are not going to walk past you. That's why it's good. I like the spot that faces a wall. So therefore, I don't have the problem.
The bench is good.
But at the bench, but I still would think if the guy's going to walk past the bench and he's still, you know what I'm saying, it'll be an issue. If he's going to walk, let's say if someone would be, let's say, Ariel, if you go into that next bench, right? So if I would walk I don't think it needs to be an issue because it's not the bench, because you're standing above the bench. Your sight is right facing. If I walk right here and there will be a wall in between, no problem. There's a wall that's here, but here the problem is you're going to disturb. You're going to take away the concentration. I walk past you and you're standing right over here. Understand? So it's going to disturb your davening, even though there was a bench in front of you. So don't walk past somebody.
You heard?
Don't walk past somebody.
So if we don't put this anymore.
This won't be good enough, right? Let's show you Ariel on the screen. Everyone can see Ariel. Okay, that's why you're here. So it's now the Shulchan Aruch says that he says the problem is only, Morris, if you're going to walk in front of him. But the Shulchan Aruch says, but if you're going to walk on the side of Morris, if I'm going to walk, let's say over here, Ariel, let's say if Ariel will stand up, if I can ask Ariel to stand up, Ariel's in the middle of his Amidah. If I want to walk over here, I'm side to side. If I'm not coming, now, I did not go in front of Ariel. I stayed on the side of Ariel, I'm good. Even though I came within Dalet Amot, even though I'm standing within Dalet Amot, as long as I didn't go in front of Ariel like this. Now, the question is, what about if I go like this? I didn't walk in front of Ariel, but I am in front of Ariel. I'm not on the side of Ariel. We said if you're on the side, we said you're good. But what about if I'm on the side but in front? You see what I'm saying? I'm on the side, but I'm over here. Can I walk like this? Past Ariel. I did not walk in front of him, but I came within Dalet Amot in a place where I was in front, but not directly in front of him. You hear the question? So that's going to be the question we're going to see. One second. What's clear, the Shulchan Aruch says what's clear. If I'll be on the side of Ariel, if I want to walk over here, I can walk over here. I want to walk on back of Ariel, within Dalet, even though I'm in Dalet Amot in back of him, no problem. But if I can walk right past you over here, Ariel, I can walk right past you over here. But the question that the Mishnah Berurah is going to discuss, can I walk in front of him, not exactly in front, but in his front space within Dalet Amot, but not actually passing in front of him. But I am here. You hear the question? I'm standing right. Ariel is standing here. Can I walk over here? I did not go here, but I am in front of Ariel, but I'm a front to the side. I'm not side by side with Ariel. This is good. I'm side by side. But if I come in front of Ariel, is that a problem? I'm on the side, but in front. Within Dalet Amot. Ariel, you hear the question. Everybody on the screen, hear the question. Is it clear? Rami, Shmuley, Akiva, Yosef.
Basically diagonally to him.
Right. That's the question. So what does the Mishnah Berurah say? So the Mishnah Berurah says that there is a machloket. There is two different opinions regarding that situation. That one opinion says it's no problem, because they say, and one opinion says that would be a problem. Okay, that's what the Mishnah Berurah says. Now, the Zohar, right? Yosef learns the Zohar. Yosef is going to be one day an expert in Zohar. He's learning the Zohar. The Zohar says that even on the side of Ariel is a problem. The Zohar is more strict than the Shulchan Aruch. Meaning, Ariel, I give you Ariel on next side. The Zohar says I can't walk within, even if I'm on the same line, I'm not on the side of Ariel. The Zohar says I can't do this. I can't be on the side of within Dalet Amot, even to the side is no good. That's the Zohar. Okay?
Right,
So we're now going to get out the Yalkut Yosef. You should know what's interesting. If Ariel is standing and praying Amidah, and I come into the shul, and I want to go ahead and I want to sit down, right? So when it comes to sitting down in front of someone who's praying Amidah, there the Shulchan Aruch says that I cannot sit down like this, right next to Ariel. Even though I'm on the side of Ariel, where the Shulchan Aruch said, if you're on the side of the person, if he's standing and praying Amidah, and I'm on the side, we said what? I could walk to the side. The Zohar says don't do it, but the Shulchan Aruch says I could do it. But when it comes to sitting in front of someone praying, even if I'm on the side of Ariel,
According to the Zohar.
no, even according to Shulchan Aruch, there's a difference. We're more strict sitting next to someone who's praying than walking, because we said if the guy is praying and you want to sit down next to him, even though you're on the side of him, it's no good. Not only on the side of him, the Shulchan Aruch says even at least the Ashkenaz rabbi says even the back of him within Dalet Amot. That's what the
It's only Amidah, Rabbi, right? We're only talking during the time of Amidah, nothing
right,
else.
we're only talking during that Amidah, right? Now we're going to see also if someone is saying a Kaddish, are you allowed to walk past somebody? If someone's saying Kaddish, could you walk past them? I think we say you shouldn't. You should not walk. If someone's saying a Kaddish, you shouldn't walk past them. It's a good question if all the same rules would apply by Kaddish, but for sure, you should, at least for sure, this rule of not walking like Kaddish, a person should be careful about that. So in the Yalkut Yosef, regarding this this law, he said there's a Siman Kuf Beis. He says, yes.
Also, sometimes you are in a room, in a small, let's say, restaurant or an apartment, and you
Talk loud. Everyone needs to hear you, Ariel.
Sometimes you're in a restaurant or in an apartment, you have to do arent or mincha.
Right.
You have to pray. It's not a big room. You have to be in front of people, or you know what I mean. Like there's no room to be separated by 6 amot, by 4 amot.
Right. So the question is,
You know
okay,
what I mean?
yes. So good, very good. So we have to look into that. So let's refer. We're just going to end with very good. We're gonna. So here we're talking about walking past some within Dalet Amot. So he says, the Rabbi Yosef says on the side, he goes like the Shulchan Aruch so far in the beginning. He's not strict like the Zohar. If Ariel is standing saying Amidah, I could walk on the side of our. 1 second. Right, he says he's not like the Zohar that says even on the side you can't go. He says on the side you could go. So he says if you finished Amidah, if I finished Amidah and Ariel is in back of me, and if I would walk back 3 steps, I will enter Ariel's space, Dalet Amot, meaning we started the Amidah, we were 4 amot away. I was 4 amot away from Ariel when I started the Amidah. And we said, as long as you're 4 amot away, there's no problem. So that the first thing we know is the problem is only if you're within the 4 amot. So if you're in a room, they should space it out to answer Ariel's problem. Everybody should, when you're praying, I should not pray with, if I'm going to pray for sure, if I'm going to pray in front of you, I should be Dalet Amot in front of you.
Yeah.
But if I had the social distancing. But now that I was Dalet Amot in front of you, but if I finish my Amidah and you're still praying Amidah, if I walk back, I'm going to enter within your Dalet Amot. Meaning that's for sure. So then I gotta wait. I have to wait until Ariel finishes Amidah before
Rabbi, we couldn't hear you, Rabbi. You turn around and we couldn't hear you.
Yeah, I'm saying if Ariel is doing Amidah, I'm 4 amot away from Ariel. I can't walk back 3. Take the steps back if it's gonna enter into his Dalet Amot.
You see, the Chachamim already knew about the corona, that you have to keep distance from each other.
How do you like that?
Yeah.
Now, if after I will step back 3 steps, I will be on the side of the person, meaning I won't be directly in front of Ariel. Remember we were talking about, Avrami was talking about diagonally. I will be on the diagonal, not directly in front of him. I will be within 4 amot of Ariel, morning Avi, but not directly. You want to say hello to Yosef's daughter? Thank you for joining us. You want to show you want to doing the Yafet Yosef. So if I would enter into the space of Ariel, of the 4 amot of Ariel, but not directly in front of Ariel, but to the side and in front of him, but to the side. So he says that you're allowed to do. That you could do, but so he takes the more lenient position on that in front, if you're diagonally in front of him, you're good. Ariel, that also it says, so that will answer your question. If people are in a small room and they're praying the Amidah and you have a small space, right? So what do people should be very careful, Ariel? Don't pray directly in front of the other guy. Meaning if we're in a small space, so that don't pray like this, pray like this on the side of the guy. You understand? That will answer Ariel. Not that one guy's standing here, one guy's standing right directly in front of him within 4 amot. That's no good. That's not supposed to be good.
Rabbi,
Yes.
I also somewhere heard that if somebody is praying Amidah and you finish your Amidah and you're in front of him, you cannot sit back on your seat if you are less than 4 amot, right?
Right, exactly. The same way you can't walk into his 4 amot, you can't sit down within his 4 amot. But you should know that, but then the Rabbi quotes the Zohar. Mike, he also had you in mind, the Zohar. It says, according to the Zohar Kadosh, yesh lahachmir, not to go in front of a person who prays as far as the person could see. That means if Ariel is standing over here, and Ariel, how much is Ariel's vision? You can see a certain amount of feet. You can see far. If a guy is praying all the way over there, you should not walk in front of him, even 10 amos away, 20 feet away, 30 feet away. You shouldn't walk, according to the Zohar, a new halacha, that you shouldn't, if someone's praying, even if you're many feet away from him, you're more than Dalan Amot away from him, but you're going across him, meaning Ariel is here and I go across him, there's a concern, there's an issue. I'm like interrupting. I'm creating like a chatzitza. I'm creating some sort of interruption between him and the prayer by walking past him. So I shouldn't walk past Ariel, even if I am with more than 4 amot away. That's according to the Zohar. Oh, it's very good. So they're going to discuss what about. Ariel is bringing up another point. What happens if the guy who's praying, his eyes are closed? Said he's not going to see that. Right, but the person looks with his eyes. But also according to the reason that has to do with you're creating an interruption. So even if the guy's eyes are closed, who's praying, but you going through that space between him and where he's praying. So according to the Zohar, you should not walk past the guy who's praying even more than 4 amot away, and you should not go to the side of the person, walk past the side of a person within his 4 amot. And he says, Me'ika hadin ein lo saruch lochosh lezeh. So Ravadia says, according to the main law, you do not need to be concerned for this opinion of the Zohar, meaning to say that, of course, we love the Zohar, but the point is that the halacha does not follow this Zohar. According to halacha, you are not bound to say, I can't walk. If the guy is standing, Ariel is standing here, and I'm 20 feet away, and I want to walk past Ariel, but I'm walking more than the alamot away from him, the halacha says it's no problem, it's fine. But nevertheless, even though that's fine, he says, "V'hamachmir k'divrei hazohar tovu olav bracha." If you're machmir like the Zohar, tovu olav bracha. You want to be machmir, and I'm not going to walk past someone even 20 feet away. I'm not going to walk to the side of someone even if I'm within Dalan Amod. That's machmir tovu olav bracha. You get a bracha for that, but it's not
Rabbi,
something that you have to do. Ariel, I think we answered your question. When it comes in a small space, so don't pray 2 people. Now the question is, in the synagogue, the way a lot of synagogues, the way they make their seats, and the way it comes out. Now we have to see that when our good friend Avi, the architect, would design a shul, You should design a shul that everybody's seat should be the spacing between one row and another row. According to this, it's not that one row is standing directly in front of the other row. That maybe each row there should be some sort of spacing in a way that people are not. You see what I'm saying?
Rabbi,
You continue that, Amida, but he should have done it. Be careful, please. Yes.
what if like you're about to finish your Amidah and somebody coming and stand behind you and just start his Amidah?
Okay, that's a good question. Avi wants to say something. Yes.
We can hear him, so if you can repeat his question.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Avi wants to say this. Wants to make a difference between a person passing by and a person actually standing. Right. Everybody is praying. But like a crowd. So that's something we have to see if they make that difference, because it's the fact that somebody's within my right directly in front of me most probably has an issue of disturbing me, because there's someone right in front of me. So that unless you're going to say, well, Avi wants to make a difference. The issue is only if the guy's going to walk, is walking. But if he's not walking, the guy is just starting in that spot. Right. He wants to say the problem was only crossing, but we have to look. Maybe tomorrow we're going to research more about this, and we'll continue tomorrow more information about this halacha. I want to thank everybody for joining, and I want to wish everyone a beautiful day.
Thank you, Rabbi. Have a beautiful day.
Have a beautiful day. You too.
Right. Thank you.
Take care, Akiva. All the best. You're safe. All the best. Safe. All the best.
How are you feeling, Rabbi? How
Yeah,
I had a question.
The sciatica is still. I still have the sciatica, and Bez Hashem, it should go away soon. Thank you, Akiva.
Feel better, Rabbi.
I still need help with the sciatica. Yes.
Rabbi, I have a question. It's my discussion with my son, and he says, why do we call, why God says that Nisan is Rosh Chodeshim, okay? But Rosh Hashanah, is Rosh Hashanah.
Right, that's a great question. So the Ramban, Nachmanides, addresses the issue by the way he explains why is Nisan the Rosh Chodesh l'Chadashim. Nisan is the first of the months because that's the birth of the Jewish nation in a certain sense. That our independence, we became free, and we want to remember that this is our independence. By America they have their independence. They remember their independence. We remember by making this our first month. It's our first month as free people. Therefore, that's why Nisan became our first month. Yes, the year begins on Tishrei, like your son says. But when you count months, we need to remember, where do we begin? Our beginning as a people. So therefore, to commemorate that, God wanted us to constantly remind ourselves of the redemption, of the great miracle coming out of Egypt. And therefore, by counting that as the first month, it will go ahead and remind us about going out of Egypt. You should know that Nisan is also the word Nisan is a Babylonian word. There's no Hebrew word Nisan, Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz. These are the names of the months in Babylon. This is what they called them in Bavel. And we use these names to remember that we were once in Bavel. And God took us out of Bavel. He redeemed us. So therefore, the Torah refers to months by number one, number two, the first month, the seventh month, right? It says Nisan is month number one, Tishrei is number seven, right? That the Torah doesn't refer to the months by name, by number. But we refer to the months by number and by name, not only to remember the first Exodus going out of Egypt. That's remembering by we start the months by number 1 from Nisan, but even to name the month Nisan, which is the Babylonian name for the month, reminds us that we were once in Babylon and God took us out from there.
So basically, the Nisan is our freedom months, basically, and Rosh Hashanah
First
is
month-
the creation month.
Yes, very good. Yes.
Okay.
Very, very well said, Yosef. The Rosh Hashanah is the creation of the world, represents the year of the world. And this represents Jewish independence, becoming a nation. And that was
Okay.
that was our opening day, opening month.
I got you. Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All
Look
right.
at the Ramban. Look at the Ramban in Pashas Bo. If you get a chance, Ramban.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Thanks, Rabbi.
Tell
Bye.
your son he asked a great question.
Yeah. We had discussion
question.
about it in Shabbat, so
Beautiful. Tell him to keep up the good work and ask more great questions.
thanks, Rabbi. Have a good day.
Good day. You too.
Chag Sameach.
Chag Sameach. You too.